Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in, wherever you're at in the world, please let us know below. So, this is our career day. We're talking about executive assistant. And by the way, this is not just for women, it is primarily a women's field, but I have seen some men doing this too. So, don't you tune out, guys. Stay tuned. So, we're going to go over some of the things you might need to do this. If you want to be successful, if you're thinking about it, you can make pretty good money making. You can make six figures doing this salary, this job. So you might want to think about this as a career, and you don't even need to go to college. But some of the things you will need to have, we're going to talk about. So there is a perception problem about the role, and it impacts the level of respect. These images of women fetching coffee, typing, answering phones while following their fingernails is not at all the way this is. Okay, so if you're considering working as an EA, there's a lot of people that have done this. It's not like what you see on TV. Okay, it's not like that at all. It is, it would be awesome if you could have a college degree, but it's really not necessary. So some of the skills that you might need are, like I have on the screen right here, is definitely organization. Organization's the big thing because you're going to need to multitask, and you're going to need to be able to handle their calendar, your calendar. You need to be able to find things really quickly. So if organization is not your skill, then this is definitely not for you. Technology, it would also be handy because you're probably going to be doing most of your organization on the computer now. You also need to be discreet, trustworthy, and ethical because most of the time you're going to be by yourself. They're probably going to be traveling somewhere or in meetings or something like that. So you're going to need to be able to be self-disciplined. I don't know if we have that on this list here, but that's another one that you need. As a person that has done this before, and then changed careers, you definitely need to be able to be discreet because you're going to be handling a lot of their personal stuff. And you also need to have this self-discipline because you're not going to have somebody standing over top of you all the time. So if you have trouble in that area, and you should know if you do, if you need somebody to catapult you to do your work, then this might also not be the job for you. So if you don't like having supervisors standing over top of you all the time, which I personally do not, then this is a good job for you. If you think you could do the work without having people standing over top of you all the time, it's definitely a good job to have. You manage the time and how you're going to do it, based upon how busy whoever you're working, the executive you're working for. And after you do it a while, you'll learn the person that you're working for and their patterns and their travel schedules and how you can work around that to get more time out of your day as well. Because that is one of the cons, but we'll do that later. So let's talk about the pros. The EAs, you work for the C-suite executives. I don't know what that noise is, but it's bugging me. Okay. They're referred to as the right arms to the leaders, the backbones to the company, because most of the time people are going to come to you before they go to the executive, which could be a woman or a man in this day and age. So they're probably going to come to you first to get an appointment with this particular person because that person is not going to be doing that. You're going to be managing the calendar. The good thing about this career is that you get to sit at the table. And at the table, we mean you get to sit with some of the leaders, the top leaders, and it's not that they're superior people to you or anybody else. It's just that they have, normally, their opinions are valued and sought after, and their skills are respected if you make it to that level. So if you can be around them and learn some stuff, and you don't have too much pride because you're not one of them, but you kind of are, in your own mind, then that would definitely be a pro. Being around when you're around people, they say that you become like the people you're around. So if you want to become an executive, hey, be an executive assistant, right? So you can pick up, you end up being like the people you're around. What do they say? 5 people you're around, you end up being like. And so if you're around executives all the time, you'll be getting that mindset. You'll be getting that. You'll be learning a lot. So that's the kind of goal you want to have. You want to have that mindset, okay? Not the mindset like they're superior to you and that you're inadequate and that you are their slave. The mindset you want to have is, I can learn a lot from these people. And you might end up becoming one like them too, right? After a while. All right, so you get to develop your leadership skills, what I was just talking about. You may even get to travel. Now, personally, that's not traveling all the time is not my thing. But if it is, hey, you could probably get and travel with them. All right, so let's see what other things that's good about this. The salaries are high. And yes, you can make $80,000 to $200,000 depending on the executive that you are serving. Depends on the location, your experience, your skills, and how busy this person is, how high up they are, right? It's an executive 4 level. You're probably going to be busy all the time. You might be making 200. If it's somebody like at the White House or something like that, it'd probably be about 200 is what I'm trying to say. So it depends on how high the executive is. It's dependent upon how high the money you will make. So some of the things that you could be doing, an example is you could be collaborating with their family, which is one of the reasons that you need to be discreet. You'll be doing personal responsibilities. You could be doing gift buying and planning, and you could be making the coffee if that doesn't bother you. So you could also be doing event planning if they're going to an event. So that's what I mean by personal connections. That's why you also need to be discreet, because you don't want to be discussing their business. Really, you don't want to do that in any job. I work in a lot of confidential material, people's personal stuff. So I already know you don't go around and do that. You try and treat people the way you want to be treated. Do you want everybody discussing your personal stuff? No, you don't. So another thing is you're going to have to work long hours and you may have a life. If you learn how to do this to where after you've been doing it a while and you find out your executive's pattern, like I told you, the person you're working for, you can develop and keep your life. It's just that you are going to have to work around their life and then try and readjust your schedule. So not having a life is not necessarily true. You're just going to have to learn to balance it. And you can figure it out. You're just going to have to adjust your schedule depending upon what their schedule is. Because if they're up at 3 a.m. and they're doing flights and they're doing their work at 3 a.m. in the morning and they're done by 2 in the afternoon, then you do most of your stuff in the afternoon and evenings instead of the morning if you're a morning person. Whatever it is, you'll figure it out to where you can adjust your life so that you can have a life. Work balance life. It needs to become an important priority if you want to have a life. All right, workplace bullying, which I've never had a problem with. This profession is dominated by women and females, which are usually primary targets of bullying and sexual harassment. Now, this is definitely not the case that I see in my travels now. I see more women in executive seats than I do men nowadays. And I don't see them harassing or sexually harassing men, but some of them can be quite dominating. I mean, women and men are definitely different in their personalities and how they manage and how, and basically I don't really think it's a gender thing. I think it's more of a character thing and also experience. And I don't really think it is a female or a woman issue. So just keep that in mind. There are good men supervisors and there are bad men supervisors, and the same with women. There are bad and good. It depends on how you handle power, because some people cannot handle power, some people can. So don't let that be a turn off for you, because there are some good women supervisors. Personally, most of the ones I've had in my 40 years of working have all been older than me. The younger ones tend to have less experience at it, so they just tend to be different. That's all I got to say about that. Not necessarily worse, just different. After you've been living a while and you've been humbled enough, you've been through enough stuff, the arrogance will start wearing off, and it's a lot easier to work with someone that's not as arrogant. And you also respect people who've been through a little bit more in life. Most of us tend to anyway. Your responsibilities may go above the job description, and this is definitely the case, which is why you need to have a work-life balance, because healthy boundaries is a common challenge. So if you don't have a college degree and you want to make a good 80 to 200, starting off at 80, it's a good way to work your way up. You start off as a secretary, administrative assistant, work your way up, and then maybe someday you can actually become the manager, because you'll have a lot of connections with the top leadership. It's a good entry point into the career path, and this goes for men too. Even though this is primarily a woman field, I am seeing more men doing this executive assistant. So just keep that in mind, guys. The way you want to get this and get it going is to make sure your LinkedIn profile and your resume is all up to date. You can contact. This is not meant to be a plug for my channel, but since it's coming up, we're going to talk about it. You can always contact me, and I can always help you with the resume building if you need it. There are plenty of other resources out there online to get help with your resume, and you make sure that your resume and your LinkedIn profile are up to date. So, despite the workplace being a lot of remote, virtual, hybrid, and in-person, the need is always strong for EAs. We're always going to have CEOs and executives, and they're always going to need assistants. So, anyway, that's it on this video. Short and sweet. Hopefully you stayed till the end. And I will see you all in the next video.